Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about high concept horror video number 5, and this one is going to be horror auras. So auras are something that different people believe in. They are essentially just vibrant colors as well as like the energy that they give off, and they can be seen around all living things. There are lots of different aura colors that you can have, and so for the video today we are going to be taking 13 different aura colors, and we're going to assign them with different character or characters in horror movies or franchises. So I definitely did a lot of research as far as auras go when I was preparing to do this video. This was a concept that I thought was very interesting, but it's not really anything that I necessarily believed in myself. I just thought that it would be an interesting video idea. And definitely there could be some other pairings in here than what I have chosen, but I think that all the ones that I paired with these different colors I've given good explanations for. And you can always let me know down in the comments if you would have put other characters with some of these different colors. So the first one that we are going to be doing is white. And people with this aura color are the type of people that kind of take in the energy of other people. So for this one, I went with the True Knot from Dr. Sleep. The True Knot is the group of main antagonists in the film Dr. Sleep. They are essentially just kind of immortal vampire-like beings, and we don't really know exactly how old they are. And some of them have been with the group longer than others, for sure. But they are the type of beings that do absolutely feed off of the energy of others. That's what sustains them. They eat the steam that comes off of children that have the shining after they have been tortured and killed. So they are the ones that I think absolutely could go with the aura color that represents people that take in the energy of others. The next one that I want to talk about is gray. And people with this aura color are a lot more of the glass half empty, pessimistic type of person. And for this one, I went with Mrs. Carmody from The Mist. I swear not all of these are going to be Stephen King related. It's just these first couple were for sure. So Mrs. Carmody is the main human antagonist in The Mist, and she is a religious zealot. She's definitely a downer type of character. She definitely brings everyone down with her, and she does still have that level of charisma where she can get people to be on her side, especially in that kind of apocalyptic almost situation. She is able to sway them to follow her blindly and even get them to help her sacrifice individuals. But I think that she is, not the most evil of characters, but she is definitely getting there, and she definitely has a pessimistic attitude overall. So I think that she pairs well with gray. The next one that I want to talk about is brown, and people with this aura color are a lot more selfish and insecure. So the character that I chose to go along with this one is Dawn from 28 Weeks Later. And this is a pretty small character out of the movie. It is the guy that you see in the very beginning that we probably all love to hate. So he is a man that has a family and they live out in the countryside. However, the zombies still do make it there, and they are descending upon them in the beginning of the film. And he has the option to either stand by his family and try to help them the best that he can in that situation, or he can just try to save himself and run. And obviously, he does choose the latter and is a very, very selfish character. He's one of the first ones that I thought of for sure when I was trying to think of selfish horror characters. So I think that he matches very well with brown aura. The next one that I want to talk about is black. And people with this aura color are kind of like the step above, or I guess below, brown, because it is someone that has dark energy derived from selfish and unkind behavior. And for this one, it might be a little bit of an unconventional choice, but I went with Barry from I Know What You Did Last Summer. So I think that Barry is honestly kind of a pretty evil character for him not being, the antagonist of his movie. He is just a self-centered rich kid. He really just only cares about himself and his vehicle. It is actually his drunken antics that get them into the situation that they're in, where they end up hitting someone on the road. And, after that happens, the first thing that comes to his mind is like what's going to happen to him, what's happening to his car. And he is very evil, honestly, to his different friend group. And, if any of them are threatening to go against him and try to bring it to the police, then he is going to do whatever he has to do to harm them and get them to be silenced. So, for him not being an actual villain, he's a pretty evil character. And I think that he does go well with a black aura. The next one that I want to talk about is red. And people with this aura color are very passionate, and they live by their desires, and they are inspired by art. So for this one, I went with Eloise from Last Night in Soho. And she is actually the main character of this movie. She is a young, aspiring fashion designer. She is in school for that as well. And so she is, very passionate, especially about art, and she's creative. And I think, honestly, in general, this whole movie very well represents this aura color as well. I think it's a very artistic film and beautiful to look at for sure. But I do think that Eloise does go really well with the aura color that represents someone that is passionate about art. The next one that I want to talk about is pink. And people with this aura color tend to fall in love easily, and they don't really expect as much in return for that love that they feel. And the person that I went with for this one is Tiffany Valentine from the Child's Play franchise. So I'm going to say this right now. I do know that they definitely have mutual love for each other, Tiffany and Chucky. However, it definitely feels like it is more one-sided. It is very obvious that Chucky is more concerned about his own agenda, and, it's all about killing and just all about furthering himself. He is not really able to commit himself to Tiffany as easily as she is to him. And so I do feel that it's a lot more one-sided, where she cares a lot more about him than he cares about her. So I think that she goes hand in hand with pink aura. The next one that I want to talk about is orange. And people with this aura color are creative. And again, this might be an unconventional choice, but I went with Death from the Final Destination franchise. So I think that the Final Destination films are pretty, self-explanatory, and they're just pretty simple when it comes down to it. It's all about survivors of near-death experiences where death is going to come back and try to get them. However, death is coming for blood. He's not just letting them, fall asleep and die in their sleep. He is coming back for blood and going to take them out in exceedingly gory and creative fashion. So I think that he, if you want to personify death as a he, is the perfect one to put with orange aura. The next one that I want to talk about is yellow. And people with this aura color are high energy. And so for this one, I went with Freddy Krueger from the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I think that Freddy is the epitome of a highly energetic villain. He is so much more charismatic and has so much more personality than any of the other main villains from this time period, mainly because of the fact that he was allowed to speak in this role, and he's allowed to deliver these great one-liners as well. And I think that he does a lot of really goofy and creative deaths throughout this franchise, and it does just feel highly energetic, so I think that he goes along very well with yellow. The next one that I want to talk about is green. And people with this aura color are hardworking, but they are also prone to jealousy and competition. And for this one, I went with Nina from Black Swan. Nina is our main character in this film. She is a professional dancer. And if you know anything about that kind of profession. It is full of competition and jealousy. It's very cutthroat. You know, when a dancer is getting too old, they are going to cut her out and get someone younger to do that role. If she is not doing everything the best that she can, then they are going to get someone to fill that role as well. And so she is trying to take on this role that she is not necessarily comfortable with, being the Black Swan. And she sees another dancer that embodies that much more than she does. And so that is something that definitely makes her jealous throughout this. And I think that she definitely represents a green aura. The next one that I want to talk about is blue, and people with this aura color are emotionally sensitive and they're shy about their innermost feelings. And for this one, I went with Norman Bates from Psycho. I think that Norman Bates is a very interesting horror villain in that he is a lot more introspective and more sensitive than most of the ones that we get. He is someone that is very traumatized. He has very complicated feelings toward his mother and women in general. He feels very sexually repressed. So I think that that is kind of where the shyness about the innermost feelings comes into play here. And I think that he definitely represents a blue aura. The next one I want to talk about is teal. And people with this aura color are empathetic and they are kind of nervous about change and new things. And for this one, I went with Frankenstein's monster, specifically from Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. And I'm sure that you could put this with some of the other versions of Frankenstein that we've seen over the years as well. But I just think Jacob Elordi's version of Frankenstein's monster is the best one to go with this one. So I think that he is deeply misunderstood. He is obviously not the true monster or villain from this film. That would be his creator. And he is essentially just like a child. He was just born and he's kind of trying to navigate the world and learn everything there is to it. And all these new things that he's experiencing are slightly scary to him, at least, some more than others, but everything is very beautiful as well. And he also has this interesting relationship with Elizabeth, and I think that we get to see some of the more empathic nature of him with her as well. But I think that he is just a very interesting character and just played to perfection by Jacob Elordi. And I definitely think that he goes well with the teal aura. The next one that I want to talk about is indigo. And people with this aura color are wise old souls, and they tend to try to escape to their own secret world for their own protection. And for this one, I went with Pennywise. I mean, wise is even in his name. But in all seriousness, he is a very, very intelligent being who knows everything about everyone. He knows exactly what scares all of us, and he will use that to his own advantage any chance that he gets. So I think also in Welcome to Derry specifically, we get to see a good demonstration of him escaping to his own secret world when he is done with his feeding cycle, or at least we think he's done at that point in the show. That definitely feels like his own little world where he's waiting to hibernate. But I do think that just, his intelligence alone would be what puts him with this indigo aura color. So the last one that we have to talk about is violet. And people with this aura color are seeking deep connection, and they have this urge to merge with other people. And so for this one, I went with Tim from Together. Tim and Millie are the main characters in the movie Together, and Tim is the one that I think goes best with Violet due to the fact that he is, I think, very codependent with Millie, and it feels more one-sided, though. He just recently lost his parents, so he doesn't really have other people that he can depend on opposed as far as it goes with her. She is really all he has. And he is also just an aspiring musician, so he doesn't really have work life to fall back on to like push him to keep going and stuff. So it's very different than with Millie because she does have her family members that can back her up whenever she needs that, and she's also got a good job that she can focus on as well. And he is definitely the more dependent out of the two of them. And if you know anything about the movie Together, it is very much about people merging themselves, quite literally. So I think that that is the perfect one to go with Violet. So what did you think of this video? Did you enjoy it? Or would you have put some different characters with some of these different aura colors? Let me know all of that down below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it and consider subscribing if you haven't yet for more horror content. I do post 2 new videos each week. You can follow me on Instagram for updates on my channel as well as additional horror content. You can also follow me on Letterboxd to see what I have been watching lately and my brief thoughts on any of those films. And if you want either of those, they are linked in my channel description for easy access for you guys. I want to say thank you to everyone who has been supporting me so far. It doesn't go unnoticed. My name is Devin. This is Carpenter Hill. Thanks for watching.